How do you look this time on Sales Talk with Joe? Whether you've been in sales for years, or just starting your sales career, or even just thinking about a career in sales, Sales Talk with Joe is designed to help you become more successful. Now, how do you look is a pretty basic question. It can mean a lot of things. I mean, a lot of us are born with certain looks. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I often wish I'd been born more handsome than I am, but that sounded a little bit arrogant, didn't it? I sometimes wish I had better looks, I should say it that way. But, you get what you get. When I say how do you look, I mean, how do you present yourself? Are you well groomed? Is your hair in place? If you have facial hair, is it neatly trimmed and in place? Do your clothes fit you well? Do they match? Are they crisp and clean? Do they look really good? Now you might be thinking, Joe, this is really basic stuff. Of course I take the time to do all that. And I understand that, but I have seen more than my share of salespeople over the years that I've encountered that can't say that. They're not well groomed. They look disheveled. They look wrinkled. They look like they slept in their clothes. And frankly, although we're told don't judge a book by its cover, don't make your opinion off of your first impression. We all do that. And when you see somebody that looks like that, your first impression of them is, boy, they're not very professional, or there's something wrong. They don't take good care of themselves, whatever. It is important to present yourselves properly. I can remember way back early in my career when salespeople, salesmen especially, were expected to wear a button-down shirt with a tie and some type of a jacket, a sport jacket, a suit jacket, when they were out working and doing their sales work. And one day I was out and I had finished my visits for the day, and I was driving home, and I was driving past a customer. Now, at that point because I thought my day was over, I loosened my tie and opened my shirt, had my collar open, and I had the jacket in the back seat of the car. And I was driving by this customer. It was late in the day, and I had an appointment with the customer actually the next day. But I thought, you know what, I'll just drop in and see if the customer can see me now, and then I won't have to keep the appointment the next day. I can go on and do other things. So I stopped in to see the customer, and they were very gracious. They invited me in, and I went in and sat down in their office. And what was interesting about that meeting is it was very relaxed. And by relaxed, I mean they didn't want to talk about business. They wanted to talk about their vacation they just took, some improvements they were doing to their building and their business, and the new dog they got, things that were going on with their family, everything but business. And when I would try to steer the conversation towards business, we would go there for a little bit and then go right back into like personal stuff, and just it was more like friends getting together and meeting. And that's good to do that. That establishes a connection with a customer. But I definitely could not conduct a business meeting with that customer. Well, I told him, hey, I got an appointment with you, tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be here. So the next day I went in, suit and tie, suit jacket on, tie, shirt buttoned up and everything. Went in, sat back down in the same office with the same two guys that owned the business that I was going to be meeting with. And the meeting was entirely business. Very little of personal conversation at all. It was all business. And I attribute that, at least in part, to the fact that the second time I went in there, I looked like I was there to do business. And it created a different atmosphere. Now, I know today that quite often our company gives us logoed shirts to wear, And, so it's not suit and tie, or for women, a business suit type of a attire anymore. We have shirts to wear, but there are little things like make sure that shirt is pressed and crisp before you go in to see a customer. Make sure that if the shirt is a certain color, that the rest of your clothing match or coordinate with that color. Now, I go so far, I kid you not. One time I was out on the road, and this is before I thought much about things like this, and I had on a blue shirt my company gave me. It was a button-down shirt. I would wear it open collar, but it was a button-down shirt, and I had the company logo on it. And I got home from work that day, and my daughter looked at me, and I had black socks on. And she's like, "Dad, you cannot do that." And I said, "Do what? What'd I do?" And she said, "You're wearing black socks with a blue shirt." I'm like, "So?" And she's like, No, those have to coordinate." And so she got me into the habit of coordinating my socks with my shirt. And, it's a little thing, but it does actually look better. And same way with things like accessories, like I match my belt with my shoes. Now you might be saying, Joe, that's obsessive, you're crazy, but I'm telling you, those little things will stand out and make you look better. So here's the whole point. You may not want to go to that extreme or worry about that, but here's my point. All right, looking better, looking more crisp, looking more professional creates a better tone with your customer if you're in a face-to-face meeting. And it will help you develop a stronger business relationship with that customer. So next time before you go out to meet with a customer, or even before you connect to do a Zoom or a Teams or something like that, take a look at how you look. Make sure your hair's in place. Make sure you look groomed properly. Make sure the shirt looks good. Now, I know what's going to happen. Some of you are going to go back and look at some of my older videos and see times where my shirts were kind of a little bit wrinkled or not looking real good. And you're going to say, "Practice what you preach, Ferguson." And I do. I have to do that. I think it's important to just take a look at how you look and look at it from the perspective of how does the customer see me. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching so much. I appreciate it. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with somebody that it will help, and comment. I'd love to hear your comments about what you think about how important appearance is when you're face-to-face with customers. In any case, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Thursday for a brand new Sales Talk with Joe.